Belizean Creole bun is a lightly sweet, enriched bread traditionally made with coconut milk and spices such as cinnamon and nutmeg, and optional dried fruits like raisins. It is served with breakfast items like eggs, butter, cheese, or other spreads.
You're watching the Bare Pantry Show.
I've made this recipe several times at the page, so I want to do something different today. I want to show you guys what happens if you use yeast that's old versus brand new fresh yeast, okay? So the yeast that I have in this package is brand new. I just bought it from Costco, 2 pounds. And I store my yeast in a glass jar with a metal lid. Don't store it in plastic stuff because it's gonna sweat and your yeast is gonna go bad. So I'm putting a 1/4 cup of warm water from the faucet. And then to this I'm adding 1.5 teaspoons of yeast. See, I'm using the one from the jar. This yeast I've had for 2 years and I'm right at the end of it, okay? I bought 2 pounds 2 years ago. So now to this I'm adding some sugar from the allotment of sugar. I'm gonna put the ingredients down below for the 1 bun. I'm making 2, but I'm doing the recipe twice. So I'm gonna put that below. See, this one's foaming up pretty fast, right? That's the new one. So let's make the first bun. Flour, sugar, baking powder, cinnamon, and you can add nutmeg, but I'm allergic, so I don't put nutmeg. Raisins. I'm trying to separate the raisins because they've clumped up together on me. And it also uses butter. The butter has to be room temperature. Well, before I do that, let me put my homemade vanilla. And then here comes the butter. I had to nuke it a little bit in the microwave because with the weather being cold, the butter was solid even though it was on the counter for an overnight. Keep in mind when you make this type of bun in the cold weather, it's going to take a while to come up, okay? So this is the new yeast, fully activated. And now coconut milk, and I've heated up the coconut milk a little bit in the microwave. It's about 3.5 ounces. And I'm going to add water according to what I need. This recipe is in my bread book, the one that you can get from Amazon. It's called The Bread Book You Need. And it's also in this book, Beans and Rice Volume 2. A little bit of warm water, just about 1 ounce or so. And then work the dough around in the bowl first until I gather all the dry ingredients. So I do this pretty quickly, but if you're new to bread making, it might take you a little bit. Just don't give up, okay? Because you will get better with practice. So I'm just going around the bowl. I've sped up the footage so we could go more quickly. But just gather everything from the edge of the bowl or from the side of the bowl. And then put it on the counter. Get all the sticky dough off my fingers. Use some flour if you have to. And then knead by rocking back and forth, turning the dough upon itself. Just turn and roll. I'm going to go wash my hands because it makes it easier to knead. And just knead until it's smooth. And then put it in a bowl. The bowl is not greased and the dough is not greased. Cover it up, okay? Now this is the next one. Same thing we're doing again. Same ingredients. Except we're going to use the yeast that is 2 years old. Here comes the warmed coconut milk. Work it around. And I put the butter too, okay? And then the warm water. So I'm basically doing the same thing that I did with the first loaf. I just want to see if, because the yeast is old and that one didn't foam up as high as the other one, what's going to happen to this loaf, okay? We're doing a scientific test here. Let me go ahead and put it in the bowl and cover this up. And it took me close to 2 hours for both of them. But if you notice, the one in the big bowl has risen just slightly bigger than the other one, but not by much. And I'm just going to get all the air out. And I want to make it into a loaf. So I'm going to flatten it out with my rolling pin. And then I'm going to tuck and roll as if rolling up a towel. Okay? Or like a log. I think I say like a log in my books. So I'm going to pinch the seams shut. I'm going to tuck the ends, well, over right now, but when I flip the dough over, it's going to be under. So this one's done. Let me set it aside and take care of the other one. I'm going to do the same thing. Roll it out with the rolling pin, tuck and roll, pinch the seams shut, grease the loaf pan, and because there's grease on my fingers from greasing the pan, the top of the bread now was greased. See the one on the left? Still a little bit bigger than the other one, but not by much. It took 45 minutes to bake, and after it was cooled down for 10 minutes, I put some sugar and water all over the bun. And see what I'm serving it with? Breakfast. Egg, Dutch cheese, burger, smokehouse ham, and my slice of bun with butter. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and of course leave me a comment.
This is the Bare Pantry Show.